And we are back for another edition of Inside Michigan Recruiting, where we take you up close and personal with the top prospects that make their way to the University of Michigan's campus on visits. As you heard me say previously, focus up to this point has been mostly on offensive prospects. That's because those were the prospects that were making their way to campus, while the defensive coaches were hired, and then eventually you get into the background check process, and that takes a little bit of time. As soon as they were cleared, though, they prioritized getting a few prospects on campus immediately. And one of those was not just one of the top linebacker prospects for the current defensive staff. He was one of the top linebacker prospects for the old recruiting staff, old defensive staff as well. His name is Elijah Melendez. Elijah, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing great, man. So listen, I got to tell you, there were a lot of Michigan fans that were heartbroken back in December. They were feeling a certain kind of way about you after that Ohio State game. They thought they were looking pretty good, and then boom, it was a commitment to Miami. So let's go back to that portion of your process, because you had some great visits, including to Michigan, and then you decided to commit to Miami. What went into that initial decision?
I was really high on Michigan. And then when the coaching staff had changed, it was really between Michigan, Miami, and Penn State. I had ended up going to Miami, and like they was just showing a lot of love. So I was like, damn. And then I ended up just falling in love with it and then making the decision. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
You know, they are obviously a great staff down there too, great recruiting staff. And then proximity. It's close to home. Was that at all, or is that at all a factor for you, how close to home it is?
No, that's not really a factor. I'm good really with playing anywhere. Mm-hmm. So that don't really play a factor.
All right, so here, I don't have to know you to know where you're from. You're from Florida. It's kind of warm down there, right?
Yes, sir.
You came to Ann Arbor in November, right? So yeah. I'm curious, as a Southern guy, what was that like for you, being up here when it was a little chilly? There's a little chill in the air.
To be honest, I low-key, like, I liked it. Like, getting a little chilly in me, like, not always being hot. I actually liked it, like, wearing a hoodie and a beanie. Like, that was smooth. I messed with it.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie.
Okay, so the game itself, the atmosphere, take me back to that visit and what you remember most about your time on campus that day.
I just remember being around the staff and all that. It was real good. And the game day atmosphere, that was probably the best game day atmosphere I've been around. And I just remember whenever a player got injured and they were all like, let's go Zach, and the whole stadium went insane. And I was like tearing up at that moment. And that's when I was like, damn, my heart was warm. And then the next play, Quorum scored a touchdown. That atmosphere was different. Probably the best family and atmosphere I've been around for sure.
All right, so you see all of that day. You experience the rivalry as well. And then, like you said, you were getting recruited by Coach Partridge, but Coach Partridge wasn't there.
Yeah, he wasn't. He got fired like a couple of days right before.
Right before that. Yeah. And so I'm curious, who was kind of keeping it alive? Who were you talking to from Michigan from the time CP was let go to the time that you made it up for who even hosted you coach-wise on the visit? Whenever
I came up, a recruiting guy, Coach Sam Popper, but he's like the realest dude you ever meet. Like, he's like the coolest dude, always happy, always excited. He hosted me, and it was just different because no recruiting dude, like, usually gets a lot of respect. But Coach Sam, he gets a lot of respect. I mess with him heavy.
Oh, so you connected with Sam.
Yeah.
Okay,
yes,
all right.
Sir.
All right, so, but obviously you got to look at who's going to be coaching you. That's a big deal. It took about a month or so before Coach BJ, Brian Jean Marie, gets hired. So your familiarity with him, what do you think of Coach BJ, and did you have a relationship with Coach BJ before he got here? Yeah,
actually I ended up visiting Coach BJ while he was at Tennessee, and me and Coach BJ clicked really well, and he had ended up coming to visit my school to recruit me and stuff, so me and him were real tight. I was a top priority for him when he was at Tennessee. And then whenever he got hired at Michigan, I'm like, oh, dang. They hired exactly who I'm real cool with. And he's from the Central Florida area that I'm from. Mm-hmm. So we just clicked really well.
I got you. All right, so you come up to Michigan this time. You have something to compare it to. You know what it was like before. What's the vibe like now in comparison to what it was like when you were here the last time?
when I was here the last time, they couldn't really have a meeting with me and really tell me really about position stuff and all that. So it was really just about the school and about the atmosphere and the game and all that. But now it's like they could really spend time with me, sit back, tell me where they see me, tell me plans for me, and really like how they're going to develop me. So it's way better in really like development and football aspect.
Okay, so you said you had really connected with Coach BJ before. Is that on a personal tip or personal side, or was that more because his player development? Like, what are the things specifically that you like about Coach BJ?
Really like how he helps his linebackers, like things he teaches them to be better and stuff, and like how we relate and stuff. We're both from Central Florida guys. Just personality-wise, I could be myself around him, and he's just real good guy to be around.
Okay. So what about the other defensive coaches? Coach Martindale,
yeah,
veteran in the game, coming in. I think he calls himself the godfather of the scheme that Coach Mentor was running anyway, right? So what have your impressions of Coach Martindale been?
Coach Martindale is the guru. He's that guy, and he gave me the nickname Bam Bam because he says every time I hit somebody, it's Bam Bam. So now I go by Bam Bam. So me and Coach Wink, we got a real good relationship, and they're really doing a great job prioritizing me. And he coached in the NFL for the longest, so I don't even got to question his development. And he still explains it to me, and it's amazing. And yeah, we click really good. A lot of people think, because he was in the NFL for so long, he's a really serious guy. Yeah, he's serious, but he's also a really cool and funny guy that'll really make you laugh and stuff.
Okay, so what about Coach Moore? He's obviously here before, but now he's the head coach. What are your impressions of Coach Moore been?
Coach Moore, he's real cool. Like, he's a head coach who also prioritizes recruits and stuff, spends good time around them, got a real good personality, and he runs the program really well. I really like Coach Moore.
Okay, all right. So I talked to Kanoa Winston about this. I like it when I have guys describe themselves as players, right? It's not about being vain or anything like that. Just be real with me. When you watch yourself on the field, you're a coach or a scout in the stands, and you're watching Elijah Melendez. Tell me what you see.
In one word, freak. In every other word, I feel like I'm the hardest hitting linebacker in the nation, and I feel like when you watch me, you think, oh, this guy's crazy. He's gonna come with the boom and the bam, and I'm always make a statement and always have that chip on my shoulder. So watching me, I feel like I'm always going to feel like I'm watching the best linebacker in the country.
Height, weight, and 40, where are you at right now?
Laser time 40, I ran a 4.53, and my height 6'1.5", 6'2", and my weight 220 to 225. Is
there a player in college or the pros that you compare yourself to? Or people that other people compare you to?
Yeah, a lot of people compare me to Reuben Foster. That's actually the big homie too. Me and him be talking, chopping it up a lot.
Okay.
Reuben Foster, and then Ryan Shazier.
Okay.
Those are the two they compare me to.
Okay, so Reuben Foster, Bama, Ryan Shazier, Ohio State. Are they pushing their schools at all, or they just talk to you about your game?
At first, Reuben Foster was pushing Alabama a little bit, but Reuben Foster really just talks to me about game and all that. We both wear the number 10, so me and Reuben have this thing called Happy Hunting, 10 World. We do that, and we just carry on the 10 legacy.
Okay. All right, so listen, Miami got your commitment, though. And so obviously they're playing with house money, so to speak. At the same time, they got other people trying to come in and take you away. So what has their approach been, man? A lot of schools are like, they don't want you to visit anywhere. Some schools are like, man, go visit, because you're going to find out that we're the best anyway. What has been Miami's approach with you?
It's really iffy. Like, I don't really know how to describe it, but I feel like if I mess with a place, I'm going to go visit. I'm not just going to go visit anywhere and waste people's times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm only going to visit schools I consider. I've only visited 3 schools this spring: Miami, UCF, because it's like 30 minutes away, and then now Michigan. So I'm really considering Michigan, but I still have a lot of love for Miami no matter what.
So let's talk about the reasons that let's give Miami some love here, right? Give them some grace. What did you like? What do you like about Miami? And tell me about your relationship with that coaching staff.
The scheme that they run, a lot of blitzing, and Coach Lance Guidry does a great job with the defense. Really, the linebackers get to play free, blitz a lot. That's a lot of my game. Coach Derek Nicholson, the linebacker coach, me and him click really well. He's got a lot of energy. He's really good at what he does and stuff. And Coach Cristobal, I feel like he does a great job, like getting to know his players and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. So you said you're messing with a few different schools, but you've only visited 3. You got any others that you know you're going to be making it out to?
No, Nah, I don't really know any others yet. I might take an official out to USC. I've been there before in the fall. And then I might just maybe take an official to Ohio State.
So what about, I mean, you're only taking these 3. Are you telling other schools that I'm not really looking around as much, so it's not worth their time? Or are there schools that are telling you they want you to come visit and you still might make it out to them?
They still tell me they want me to visit, but I just keep it straightforward, blunt, like tell them straight up what it is, because I ain't really trying to waste nobody's time, because I wouldn't want my time wasted. So I tell them straight up, but they still be trying to recruit me, telling me I just need to see it and stuff. I
hear you. All right, so let's talk about as you come around to finalizing, we'll call it finalizing your decision this time around. Like what are going to be the factors that determine whether you stay with Miami, who you're committed to, or you decide to go someplace else? What are going to be the things you consider to make that decision?
Really seeing the real in people, seeing who's going to stay with me to the end. A lot of development stuff, a lot of NFL producing NFL, a lot of like who's on the roster, who's not, who's around me, the coaching staff, like relationship wise, stuff like that.
Did you watch, outside of the game that you came to for Michigan last year against Ohio State, did you watch much of that defense, and what did you think about that crew? And I mean, a lot of guys obviously in the draft now, going to be in the draft next year. What did you think about this Michigan defense and the scheme?
Yeah, I actually seen Michigan play in person twice, the game versus Ohio State and when they played Penn State, and I just loved that defense. I feel like they were all dogs. It was all a brotherhood, and they was all on the same page. They all just wanted to dominate and not really compete, but just dominate everybody. Like, they just wanted to dominate and be brothers at the end of the day. I really like that. It was all a family.
I got you. Speaking of family, I like to dig into your support system, right? Because you can't do this by yourself. Don't go on visits by yourself, right? To get to these places, the people who support you got to help make that happen. So I see your mom here with you today. What have been the things that she's been stressing along the way in the recruiting process for you to really focus on and value?
Really just to be patient, take my time, really take everything in, and really take it as a business and be a businessman and make smart decisions and really not just make quick decisions off what you like to hear, and really like take actions over words.
So I know we were talking about distance before. You said it's not a big factor, but let's look at it from mom's lens a little bit, because you know mamas don't like their babies to go far away from home a lot. Have you talked about distance with mom? Is that factoring in at all with her?
Yeah, my mom supports me whatever I do. She knows that she wants me to do what's best for me. She tells me all the time, it doesn't matter. I'm on Team Elijah, and I'm going to support you wherever you go, and I'm going to see you wherever you go.
So what have her impressions? I mean, I guess we could ask her this question, but from your perspective, what do you think her impressions of Michigan have been?
I think she loves it. She tells me she loves it, tells me she's having a great time. She's really being herself around the coaches, could really talk to them and bond with them. So she really loves it.
Gotcha. All right, so as you push towards the end of the visit, I'm curious, like I asked Kanoa, like what are your big questions remaining for Michigan, and what did you like most about them at this point?
Really, everything about Michigan tradition is always great and all that, and the relationships are great right now, and they're prioritizing me really well. I really don't have no more questions really for them. They really answered everything on the visit. So yeah.
So what's your timeline for conducting this next phase of your recruitment? You know, getting out on visits and then deciding for sure where you want to go. Is that something you're going to push into your senior season to figure out? Like, do you have that in your mind yet?
Really whenever I feel the time is right, I get a feeling by God. Really whenever I feel the time is right, that's whenever I'm going to fully be on it.
Yeah, and so you said a couple of things that resonate with me a little bit as we close things out. You said, you know, relationships are going to be big. And I wonder what your process is for determining what relationship is real from those that aren't as real. How do you figure that out?
Really like how they're staying in contact with me. If one day they're saying this, next day they're saying that, changing up stories and stuff. Like, there's been schools that have said, oh yeah, we just been busy, that's why we ain't talked to you in a week. Like, it's really easy to tell the real between the fake.
I got you. All right, so your senior campaign, I mean, this is one of the reasons why a lot of guys try to get it done, get it out the way in the summer so they could focus on that last year. Take me into your outlook for your final campaign. You've done a lot on the football field already, but what What does your senior year look like? What's the outlook for your final campaign on high school level?
State championship, high school Dick Buckus Award, and then just have a lot of fun. Like, really just have a lot of fun.
What aspect of your game do you feel like you gotta, I mean, you're obviously an outstanding prospect already. Where do you feel like you need to improve and grow as you head into this final year?
Really in coverage and like skill moves off the edge, because I feel like in college it just can't be a bunch of bull rushing, bullying everybody. So really just using my hands better on moves and stuff, blitzing off the edge. Now,
are you talking to any other players? This is another thing that guys do in recruiting. I mean, you're visiting with other top prospects at different schools. Are there any guys that you've talked to about, hey, we can go here or there and do something really special? Is that something that has developed for you yet, or you not even put that kind of stuff into your process?
Nah, I don't really feel like I'm the type to go talk to another guy and really be all groupie. I feel like I'm always do what's best for me. I don't really care about what the guy next to me is doing.
I hear that. So what are you looking for in practice? Like, when you go to a practice, what do you want to see as you're breaking down the takeaways?
I want to see a lot of energy and just if the players are really loving it and having fun, or if they're just like, man, I can't wait till practice is over. Because the coaches could say everything, but it's the players who you going to really learn off of and find stuff out of.
Have you gotten a chance to really connect with any players while you're here?
Yeah, Ernest, he's a starting linebacker, and then Cole Sullivan, a freshman linebacker.
And what have they said to you about their Michigan experiences so far?
Really, like, they love it, and they've been developed a lot, especially Ernest. His time here has really been all about development, and Cole, since he's been here, he's already been developed a lot, put on a lot of weight and stuff, and they've all been having a great time.
All right. So if we want to circle on the calendar, man, to come down and check you out in the game this year, what would be the games that you would highlight? Say, I'm sure you say all the games are going to be must-see TV, but what are the biggest ones to come down and check you out in?
Probably whenever we play Treasure Coast or whenever we play Jones. I think those are the best two teams on our schedule. They got a bunch of good players, and it's just going to be me dominating.
Okay, and last one for you. It is an increasingly significant factor in decisions, the NIL presentations of all these different schools. They all have them. They all talk about it. They all have to lay out what it might look like for student athletes at their schools. How big of a factor is that for you in the grand scheme of things?
It don't really matter too much for me, but if one school is telling me a crazy price and another school is telling me a real low price, I'm going to say something to the low school and be like, you don't think I'm worth more than that? But, like, it's not like that ain't going to determine where I go or not. I just want to make it to the NFL and play football and have a great time.
Appreciate it. Well, Elijah, man, it's been a pleasure. You obviously have great options wherever you go. And I'm sure the Michigan fans who remember that Ohio State game, glad that you were able to come on this visit to kind of speak to them a little bit, because there was a whole lot of disappointment around Ann Arbor when that visit came down. And obviously a lot of excitement in Miami. So congratulations on your season, your recruitment so far, and good luck the rest of the way.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It means a lot to me.
All right. That was it for another edition of Inside Michigan Recruiting. Again, if you want to check out prior episodes, you can always go to the YouTube page, the Michigan Insider YouTube page. Be sure to check us out over on the MichiganInsider.com as well. Steady dropping dimes every Wednesday at 6 p.m. The return of the Michigan Recruiting Insider is coming back as well, so be sure to check all of that out and more. Thanks for watching another edition of Inside Michigan Recruiting.